Hello, good afternoon, viewers. My name is Bernard Mwangi, and this show is called We Do Recover. Karibu sana. Today, I hope you have some tea, some coffee somewhere there that you're seated with. We have an awesome guest. His name is Isaac. The second name, if I try to pronounce it, I'll dislocate my jaw. And he is a wonderful, wonderful man. I've known him now for a month, and he works as very many things. And I think the best thing for him to do is to introduce himself and the roles that he plays in our society.
Thank you for having me. I'm Isaac Mwibanda, a father of 6 and 50, almost 52 years old.
Okay?
52 years old.
52 years young.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, by the grace of God. And I help the addicted, especially those who are addicted into stuff. There's majorly drugs and alcohol. Because I was also a drug addict for 17 years.
Wow. Wow. That's a great, great achievement. So you have a story to tell.
Yes.
And before we get into that story, I got to know Isaac through a program that he's launching, or he brought to Kenya, called Life Challenge Kenya. And it's a product of the Life Challenge Academy, which he will explain better about it during the second segment of our show. But now,
Yes, sir.
the story. What happened? Drugs. How did it happen? How did you get into drugs? At what age were you initiated into drugs?
My story sometimes looks interesting because I was born and raised in a Christian family. My father was a KDF officer, and my mother, and we grew up in church. I mean, as Sunday school in our house was not an option. That was a must, a command, so to speak. So I grew up knowing God. I grew up seeing my parents having fellowship in our house. That was a normal thing for us. So, but when it got to when I was joining Form 1, for the first time I went to a boarding school.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first time I was away from home. Though by then, because of the nature of the work, my dad was mostly not with us because he used to be out most of the time. So that was the first time I was alone by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in a boarding school. I was 14 years then. And so during that time, there was a lot of bullying in schools.
Mm-hmm.
I remember those days when somebody would give you a very, very smelly shoe that you call home for your parents to send money for the guy who is bullying you. So. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of beating in schools those days. So when I joined Form 1, I met some guys who were expelled from some schools. I think those days, Isili and Jamhuri. Mm-hmm. And these guys were expelled because they used to be heavy bank smokers. And they were boxers. They used to do a lot of boxing. Mm-hmm. And so I went to a school in Thika. And these guys came from Nairobi, so it was easy for us to gel because we are Nairobi guys, so to speak. Mm-hmm. So I joined this group, one, because of protection, because they were tough guys. They were everybody knew them in school. Mm-hmm. So for me to feel protected, I joined this group. So it turned out this group, they never used to go to class. So it's like in the morning, we wake up, we go for breakfast, and guys are going to school,
Yeah.
to class, as we sneak out. I remember there used to be a crematorium, the Hindu crematorium in Thika. So there's where we used to go and tie the bags for boxing. Of course, a lot of marijuana and smoking, and that's how slowly I was initiated, because I had to fit in this group. I remember the first time it was just try. Yeah, I cough a bit, just try, come on, you'll make it. So yeah, you know, then at the end of the day, I got hooked. And then now we started sneaking out of school, going to discos, fighting in clubs, and
because now everybody's a boxer.
Yeah, everybody's a boxer, tough guy, and we smoke a lot of marijuana and cigarettes. By then I'd started doing alcohol. And so when we closed school first term, already I was a graduate in bang smoking, alcohol, cigarettes. And by then, you know, since my dad was in KDF, there was those days what we used to call AFCO.
Yes.
Armed Forces canteens. Things were cheaper there. So
alcohol,
cigarettes, now I could...
They were tax-free.
Yeah, tax-free. I could carry a lot of whiskeys and cigarettes to school. And now I was a darling of the group. So to cut the story short, I started, my grades started going, they were not good, and then I was started being violent even in the house, beating my other bros, just being a violent person, being rude to my parents. And by 1985 in Form 2, my dad saw now this guy is getting out of control. So he thought by taking me to another school far from Nairobi would be a better option. So I remember he took me to then Kanga High School in South Nyanza was just beginning. So that was in 85, around in the mid of second term, I think it was June.
Yeah. He
took me to Kanga. So now I had to do long trips from Nairobi to Migori.
Yeah.
Now then I started doing cat Mira, because all the distance to school I had to chew. And of course I still had to carry the whiskeys and the alcohol.
Yeah.
So when I went there, I started now doing changa.
Now you've gone to the depot.
Yeah, because
to the source of...
Yeah, the real changa. And of course now there, the bang is the one that is grown in sugarcane. You know, Sony sugar is just around there. So we used to call it pure stuff. And so I started doing changa. I'm doing bangi, I'm doing mira, I'm doing alcohol, I'm doing cigarettes. And then I met some friends who were DJs. So they initiated me into DJing. By then when I started trying Valium and Madrax a bit.
But that was Nairobi.
Now I'm in South Nyanza. I'm in Form 2. Yeah, I'm in Form 2. Then I started joining friends. They had mobile discos. So started sneaking from school going, because I had to sneak to go and do the DJing outside. So again, now my grades started going down, and it was a good school, a national school. And things started getting worse, because I started getting my suspensions, and I didn't care. But then I was already hooked. I was addicted. I remember it reached a time we used to buy bang in a sack, not for selling, for consumption.
So you sat there with a flag with your friends, just rolling in high school?
Yeah, on Saturdays, when because by then there was no water in school, so we were allowed to go and do our washing in the river. So that was when now the whole day we go there with our flags, and we used to call it Tusanif, though we do a lot. So we used to have paper bags full of rolled bang, come back to school.
And a lot of seeds somewhere.
Of course, the seeds, we used to plant them at the river so that next time we don't have to go and buy. Yeah, so I remember in 86, if I'm not wrong, because of too much bang, a lot of our friends went crazy. Literally, they were taken to hospital, and they were found to be, they had gone mad because we had given them a lot of bang, because they were singing in hospital, Wafula ametupea bangi, you know. I can't mention the name of the other friend for security reasons. So we were two. So then the school was closed for 3 weeks. Even it was announced on VOK.
Because of you?
Because of me and some circumstances. A lot of guys went mad because of bang. So we stayed on for 3 weeks. It was announced, and we went back to school. Then I continued to be bad, suspensions here and there. Then when I was doing my Form 4 in 87, I remember there's a prefect who, he was in Form 2. And they found me. Guys had gone to preps and had remained behind to, of course, roll my bang so that I go and smoke. And he found me. And he went, the school, everybody in school knew I was a bank smoker, I was a changa smoker, I used to sneak in stuff in school, everybody knew. And so this guy went and reported me. And so I went and told him, today we will kill you. And he knew, he took me seriously because he knew who I was. So from preps, we looked for him, we couldn't find him. But now looking at the roof, he was hiding on the pillars, the pillars supporting the roof. And we had stones. We hit him from the roof, he fell down. We started beating him. There was commotion in school, so they managed to sneak him out. So we took all his stuff plus the box, and we lit them, we put them on fire. I remember even the police were called in that night. I remember we slept outside the school because we were being looked for by the police. The following day, it was on a Saturday, the following day we were expelled. So we had to get a place to sleep, a place to rent, because we were almost starting our exams. So I remember I'd said, I'm done with school, let me just go home, because even my mother had to be summoned. And I had some friends, I think. One is the current MP for Roraka, TJ Kajwang. Is the one who told me, soma tu bwana, hata ukipata Z, just get a certificate. Then I had lost hope and said, I'm done with school.
So did you pass?
Yeah, I did.
How well?
I went to Form 5 and 6. Yeah, so after that, I got a good division with a good combination during our time. So I went to another school in Bungoma for my Form 5 and my Form 6. Same routine continued. DJing, doing all sorts of drugs. And again, I remember I did my Form 6 from outside again, under heavy police escort every day. And again, I just missed going to university by some points. And that was the first time in my life I regretted. I wish I could just study hard a bit, at least I would have made it to the university. But again, being a drug addict, by then I was totally hooked, total chaos in the house. I was violent, and I didn't care. I mean, I was a DJ, and
You had your money.
life was working well, because being a DJ, of course, comes with women, and you know. So for me, that was life. So I continued. Again, now after I missed going to university, I stayed for some time. Then my dad, through his connections, he was still in KDF.
Yes.
I got employed. I worked for Firestone. I got a job with Firestone, East Africa. Those days, Firestone was one of the best companies in Kenya.
So it's now Yana Tires.
Yeah, Yana Tires. So I was there I am, a young guy, good money and good stuff. So there's where, again, I'm still an alcoholic. I'm still a drug addict. I'm still trying pills here and there. And I got friends, because I got now DJs in clubs in Nairobi, because I had some friends, so I could go and try and do stuff. And I got guys who were doing heroin and cocaine here and there. It's like, I just try and shoot here and there. And it was crazy, because the days I tried shooting is the days when I did DJs, when the club would, like the guys would be crazy, and then I would like, so this stuff is good, it makes...
You're sure it was not how you were feeling?
I know, the club would, we would say that you burn, you pull the roof down those days, and
So what was your DJ name?
It was Sparky. It was called Sparky Cool. C with a double O-L. Sparky Cool. So that was my name. So I started having problems at work, because I would go to work. If I would manage to go to work, I would go to work at 11 o'clock. And first on had buses picking people, so there's no excuse that there was no transport, there was traffic,
Or it was raining.
No, so, but me, that maybe I could come out of a club at 6 o'clock, maybe still stoned. So I try to sleep. By the time I wake up, it's midday. So, and by then, I think during my second year is when now I had a son with one of the ladies that our boss used to have brought a lady for attachment, my boss, and things happened. By then we had a kid, he's 30 years old.
Yes.
So things happened because of drugs. Marriage didn't work, so I was here in depression or something, and then got another wife. By then we had a son who was months old, I remember. Then because of absenteeism, going to work while drunk, doing drugs at work, because I used to be, me and a friend, my late friend, we used to have the keys to the stationery stores. So there is where our our den for drugs was. So we do drugs, go to work. So
were you now using heroin continuously?
Yes.
Are you using it now at the company stores?
Yeah, but now that one we used to smoke it.
Yeah, not injecting.
Yeah, because there it was tricky to inject because of...
It was still the days of brown heroin.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you had to cook it before you...
Yes, we used to smoke it. So because by then I'd accumulated a lot of warning letters in my file. I'm rude to bosses. supposed to be putting on a tie. I used to have my tie in my pocket. And first one used to buy me suits and shirts for me to put on. But I just put on the suit and the shirt, the shirts, but the ties in my pocket. So my boss is like, why are you not in yours? This is it. And I used to have curly kit and earrings, and I want to do that. And I refused. And so they got used to it. And so I had a lot of warning letters. So it reached a time that another HR came. And after some time, she couldn't stand my nonsense, so to speak. So I was dismissed.
Okay.
That was in '96, I think. I was dismissed from employment. Here I am. I'm used to drinking alcohol every day.
Yeah.
Monday to Monday. I'm used to going to hotels to drink. I could afford my drinks. So here I am. There's no work for me. And so at first I took it lightly. I knew maybe I'll get a job within a month or something. But things, after some time, now I had this married again with a son who was months old. Now there's no work.
Wow. I believe at that point we can hold for a break so that our viewers can go and brew another cup of tea. So that has been We Do Recover. We'll come back after the break where we'll tell you more about Life Challenge Academy, and I hope he'll be able to finish his story.
Yeah, I will.
Because it's a long story.
It's a long story.
Or we'll have to come back another day. We never know.
Je, wewe ni mfanyabiashara au je, una mipango ya kuanzisha biashara na ungependa kuimarisha utendakazi wa biashara yako? Juda Radio inakupa nafasi ya kutangaza biashara yako kupitia mitabendi ya 99.9 FM Kisaju na 86.7 FM Narok. Wasiliana nasi kupitia 0713999333. Juda Radio. Sasa nitamsifu Mungu.
Juda Prayer Center Kisajo, mahali ya kutafuta Mungu na kuomba usiku na mchana na kupatia Mungu mizigo zako. Tunapatikana barabara ya Namanga. Kama unatoka Nairobi, kuja pita Kitengela. Kabla hujafika Kisaju town, angalia mkono yako ya kushoto, wana barabara nyeupe ya mara. Fuata hiyo barabara. Na kama unatoka Namanga, pita Bisil, pita Kajiado, pita Isinya, pita town ya Kisaju. Hapo angalia mkono yako ya kulia, yuko barabara ya Maram. Fuata barabara nyeupe, fuata mpaka unaona milango imeandikwa Prayer Center Kisajo. Ingia hapo, tafuta Mungu na utabarikiwa.
You are watching JTV, your #1 Christian channel.
Welcome back, viewers. I hope you have your cup of tea ready. This is Bernard Mwangi with Isaac
Mwibanda.
Isaac Mwibanda on We Do Recover. This is the second part of his show, and we were now getting to the part whereby you're not jobless. You have a wife. You have a small child. What happened?
Now, after some time, I used to stay in Umoja. And after some time, I couldn't pay rent. And so the landlord had to kick us out. Here I am with a small kid. So I went to stay with my mother. I'm the firstborn. I went to stay with my mother in Kasarani. And so there I am with my wife and the kid. being taken care by my mom. So after some time, we decided with my wife, she goes back to, because she's also born in Nairobi, she goes back to her parents' place. And then now life became desperate for me because I was used to drinking. And now here sometimes I don't have money to drink.
You had a salary, you had suits.
Yeah.
You were the guy, your DJ Sparky.
Yeah, but then now there's when all your friends run away from you. The friends you used to buy alcohol all over, nobody's there. So being that desperate, I started taking jet fuel.
From Kariobangi.
We used to go to Korokocho. Yeah, and there's another slum, Gitari Marigo slums, I think, I can't remember. Where the dam site is, around there, there's another slum.
Yeah.
Yeah, they used to sell jet fuel. So for jet fuel, for 20 bob, those days, it was some huge amount, and you had your marijuana there, you are set to go. But
And this one is already pre-mixed. It's not pure jet fuel.
it is pure, jet fuel is just mixed with some small water. So it depends with the person who's mixing. If he does the wrong calculations,
He'll kill
that's
you.
the end of you. And you knew when you were going, you knew. Because even those guys, those days, the guy used to mix, never used to take. Never used to take it. So because we knew it is dangerous, but you have nothing. You don't have the money, and you have to get high. You are an addict, and so that went. I started looking at myself. I'm the firstborn. By then, my second follower had gone abroad to do his master's degree. My other siblings were in colleges.
Your father is a senior.
Yeah, by then my dad had retired.
Uh-huh.
My dad had retired. He went home, so the mom was taking care of us.
Yeah.
So I remember because I used to see the others progress in life. Because me from Form 6, I didn't do anything because because even first on were paying for me to go to do accounts and computers. I didn't even finish because I was always in clubs. So, but I started being more violent to my parents and my brothers and sisters because of seeing the progress they are making. So I remember there's a time my brother went to the States. I started thinking, by then, a lot of my friends had died. HIV, having accidents after drinking, suicide. And even me, I contemplated doing suicide. There's a time I wanted to do an overdose of heroin and die. But I felt, because my mother was a prayerful woman, I thank God for her, Mama Nedi. She's a prayerful woman. And she used to tell me, Isaac, my son, you'll never die before knowing Christ. And this Christ you are denying, because I used to deny Christ and call him all sorts of very dirty names I can't even say now. He said, this Christ you are denying, you will travel this world preaching about this same Christ. And I will tell her in Kiswahili, mimi nikiokoka nani atakuwa kuni kwa shetani, as in who will be the firewood? I'll be the firewood burning guys in hell. That's how I used to tell her. But she used to pray for me. And I remember even times when I used to go to dangerous places to get drugs, and I knew at night people get killed. And those are the days I used to make prayers. I tell God, God, if you make me reach the other side of the bridge.
That's Madare now.
Madare, Kangemi, Sodom, and John Saga, Uruma, Kariobangi South, because I was in Umoja those days. I'll never repeat. Crossing the bridge again, I go and get some dose and stuff. So to cut the story short, in 2001, after looking at my life, the firstborn, by then all my bro had come back from his master's, he's gotten a good job. My other bro had gone for his master's in the States. My other siblings have college education. And I started thinking about salvation seriously. But my problem was, how do I get born again? I'm addicted in multiple addictions, and I didn't want people to laugh at me. But it reached a time my wife, we separated with my wife again. After some time we split, but she got born again and came to visit me at my mother's place. And she came to tell me, I think, I'm born again. I forgive you for what you made me go through, because I could disappear even for a week. They go looking for me in mortuaries, in police stations, but I'm just passing even home with cars, just hanging out, going. So she came to told me now, but you can come and see your son. In fact, I remember I took him, my son, I used to take him, have a few days with him, then take him back, but still doing drugs with him, sing. So I saw the change in her, and that Sunday, I thought about salvation, because she told me, we can only get together if you change. I'm not accepting you on condition you really, really change. So that night, after heavy cocktail of stuff, I tried sleeping, I couldn't sleep, and I felt a voice speaking to me clearly. The only way you can change, the only way you can make total transformation is through salvation. And I tried sleeping, I couldn't sleep. The following morning, I went to a pastor. It's called Ben. I found he had started his theology, so he was not in. I went to another pastor called Churchill Malimo. He was not there. I went back to the house, took some more drugs, and then I felt there's no need to get born again. I mean, you'll miss this stuff. But I still felt an urge. So I went back the second time for both the pastors. They were not there. So there was a ministry called Tumaini. They work a lot in the slums. And they used to, where my mother used to go and for requesting for prayers. And there were ladies who used to come every Tuesday to fast and pray for me. And this ministry used to fast and pray for me every Tuesday. And sometimes I could chase them from the house. When they come, I chase them from the house physically, vita, you know. But that time I went there, I found, now he's a bishop, who called Alfred Wentindi, and I think the administrator was called Sylvester. I think he passed on. I found them. I went to the office. They were busy. I went and sat. It was a miracle for me to go in that office. So they were stunned. They looked at me. It's like this guy needs mental health, because for me to go there was, something must be. And I went. I told them, I think this life I'm living, I don't think I deserve going through. I think I want to get born again. There was 10-minute silence, because they knew now this guy must be crazy. And then I knelt down, I started crying. I told them, have I ever pulled this joke before? Because they knew I never wanted stuff with Jesus. I never wanted anything to do with preaching. So they literally led me to Christ hurriedly so that I live in case I'm crazy. So I kneel down, repeat this prayer after us, blah, 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 blah. Say, Lord Jesus, forgive me, forgive my sins. In a manner to chase me, so to speak, because they thought this guy is crazy. So I went, Went back, had some hashish remaining. I took one, and then I didn't have a Bible. Now I went back to Pastor Churchill, Malimo, and I found he was back from, by then I think he was going to Park University. So I told him, I'm born again now. Yeah, do you have a Bible? He said I didn't have a Bible. So he gave me his Bible. He still has it. He still has his name. So I went, locked myself in the house. That was on a Monday at about 1 o'clock. I started reading the Bible. I used to read novels before, big, Ludlam, those people.
And now the Bible is another
big book. So I said I'm not going out of the house. I locked myself in the house. And my friends would come, knock at the window, show me stuff. Hey, come, there's pure stuff. Come. Temptations would come Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 2 o'clock. The crave was too much on me. And I decided now, God, here, you'll have to understand this. So I went, sneaked out of the house. I went and called a friend because I didn't want to go and be seen buying. So I sent a friend, went and bought a shish. I went to a quarry somewhere alone. And I remember I lit and pointed to God. I remember I spoke with God in Sheng. I said, God, if you are real, let this be the last joint I'm smoking. And I remember I smoked 3 puffs and I felt dizzy, I felt like vomiting, and I felt in my spirit God telling me, I'm real. That's how I threw it, and I started my journey. And within a month I was through the whole Bible from Genesis to Revelation. And Tumaini Ministry took me for outreach missions in Western Kenya in 2001, 2002, 2003. Then 2004 is when God started opening doors for me. Went to Tanzania, my first mission. Then I went to Uganda to speak in a youth conference. Then God started expanding me. Later I started going for missions in Europe. And up to now, God is good. Amen.
Amen. So this is reverse evangelism. They used to come here to evangelize. Now you're the one who's going to Europe to evangelize.
Yeah, to drug addicts. And I do a lot of ministry with drug addicts in Europe. And I come with them here. We do prison ministry and reaching out to criminals out here. Yeah.
So life challenge. Now there's this gentleman called
Binush Matthew.
Yes. Tell us about him.
In one of my mission trips to Uganda, I was speaking in a conference, and there was a person who was from Life Challenge, who was also speaking. So after the conference, he got interested in what I'm doing, so we started talking, and he told me there's a friend of mine in the US. He's called Binush Matthew. He runs a program called Life Challenge. They help drug addicts. So it will be good if you get to know him. So he gave me his contacts, but then there was no WhatsApp and stuff. So we used to chat on Facebook. Then we went quiet for some time, a long period of time. So it's only recently during this COVID times that I started now serious chatting with him about the situation in Kenya, about addiction, and about how recovery is expensive. Rehab centers in Kenya are very expensive. And even doing addiction counseling courses in Kenya, very expensive. So we came up with an idea, let's see what we can do. So we started doing Zoom meetings. But we realized that because of connectivity challenges, not everybody can be on Zoom for 1 hour, 2 hours. So we decided to put programs where we can gather people at one particular place, facilitate the connectivity,
Yes.
so that the facilitation from the state. So these people are here, and then the facilitator is there, so that you don't have to worry about bundles and internet.
So these people sit down and they get trained on biblical information as to
Certified biblical addiction counseling. Yeah, and we had our first meeting on 25th. I think you attended.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, and that is our first. It was an introductory meeting because we are planning to roll out this all over the country.
Yes.
Because Binush has a passion, and which I support him, that every church should be a recovery center, addiction and recovery center. Because in my experience in Kenya, not many pastors understand what addiction is, inclusive. I remember there's a time where we went to places, minister to people, they get born again,
Yes.
but they're addicts. So when these guys realize, maybe after 2 days they go back to church, and these pastors would like be choking them literally, this is a demon, I mean, you backslid, and they don't understand. Sometimes addiction is a process. Sometimes you need to work with these guys. That's why
Throughout his recovery.
yeah, in conventional rehabs, there's the detox you do. So these guys need somebody to work with them. There are some addictions which might, sometimes I know God can instantly deliver, I know that, but sometimes I know there's a journey. There's a scripture I like in the Bible where Jesus, the Son of God, touches a blind guy and asks him, "What do you see?" He says, "I see things, people looking like
People
trees."
like trees.
And then Jesus touches him again the second time. This is Jesus.
Yes, this is God himself.
Yeah,
basically.
he needed the second touch for this guy now to see. So maybe I always believe, even in addiction, sometimes let's give people the second chance. Let's understand, we pastors, because sometimes I tell pastors, I've met pastors who've never been, I'm not saying it's bad, they've never been too addicted to anything.
And we thank God for that.
Yeah, it is good, yeah. But now, for him to understand what this guy is going through, that's why sometimes in Kenya there's a common saying, you see a pastor saying, "Mi sina neema ya walevi, ya makahaba," you know. That's why Life Challenge, you want to bridge that gap.
Okay.
Bring this to the churches, train church leaders to understand what addiction is, and as we are using the biblical approach,
Yes.
yeah,
Using the Bible, as I understood it, the Bible as a means and a tool of information.
exactly, and get scriptures from there, and use the fourth pillar of Life Challenge is the discipleship. Yeah, using discipleship to help this guy quit drugs. And we thank God so far. It's working well. We've rolled out. We are planning for more sessions outside Nairobi. And God willing, we'll be coming to a church near you. You can invite us if you feel you want to partner with us, and if you want us to come and train, not just church leaders. We want anybody who has a burden for addiction. Like I remember the last training, we had people from Isinya to Kajiado to Rongai coming all the way to Kahawa West Commonwealth Church, where the training was.
Yes.
So
yes.
we want anybody who has a passion and a burden for drug addicts to get in touch with us. We can facilitate them.
So before we give your contacts, Life Challenge is in how many countries?
The active countries: US, India, Bangladesh, Nigeria, which is coming up strong. And we are, as we are speaking, we are in trying to see if we can launch a life challenge in South Africa, in Uganda, Tanzania, Zambia, Angola, where we have friends there who are willing. And have I mentioned Tanzania?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, and Sudan. Yeah, and everybody, anyone in another country, if you feel you can invite and facilitate life challenge, will be willing to come and see what God can do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that is awesome. That has been Isaac Mwibanda, and here are his contacts. Please share your contacts.
My telephone number is +254 724 715 998. I'll do that again. +254 724 715 998. I'm on email Mwibanda MWIBANDA@gmail.com. We are soon establishing the Life Challenge Kenya network, and we'll be having the contacts very soon.
Okay.
But you can visit Life Challenge US, Life Challenge US. The training wing is Life Challenge Academy. There's that trains the addiction counseling, but the wing that runs the rehabilitation is Life Challenge Academy. By the way, Binush was also a director of Teen Challenge US. So before he began Life Challenge US.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's great information. So, do you have a parting shot, something you'd like to tell our dear viewers?
I'll give a short story. My dad was in the military, and my dad believed in physicality because he was a KDF guy. So he believed in hitting the hell out of somebody, so to speak. So he was more physical. My mom used to be more, as a mother, loving. There's a time I remember I didn't have money, and she knew very well I'm lying to her that I want money to go for interview. I mean, when I was jobless, she knew, but she used to tell me, I know you are lying to me, but I'd rather give you this money than you going and steal. But I know, I have a feeling this money you're going to use it for drugs. So the drug addicts, anybody who is addicted to anything, they need love. The problem with us, especially in Kenya, we condemn them. We give them names: junkie, mlevi, kahaba, mwizi. And sometimes these guys just need to show them love. Because I remember me, when I perceived, which was wrong, that my family was being hostile to me, I could go out there and perceive that these other drug addicts loved me, because I could go there without money and get any stuff I want.
And they would accept you just the way you are.
Yeah, because I'll go there to get any stuff I want, go back home drunk. So to me, I thought that was love. And sometimes I tell believers that I think non-believers have more love than believers. I say that because I've seen this. A person who is a drunkard can go to a bar without money, and they'll go home drunk. I've seen churches where a drunkard goes staggering in, is pushed out. I've seen churches where you go with dreadlocks, earrings, is that you're not born again nicely. And for me, sometimes I think we've lost the heart of Jesus. For me, I think Jesus just came while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. And I believe Christ would come for any sinner. It's not us to judge who is more saint than the other. So for me, let's show love to these people. They just need love. And because I believe, and it is true, there's nobody who is addicted without a root cause.
That's true.
There might be depression, there might be somebody's going through stuff. Yeah, and so for you, that addiction is your drug of choice. It gives you comfort.
Yeah.
It gives you a sense of belonging. Maybe it's rejection. You've lost a job, you've lost a spouse, you're going through stuff. So if you don't deal with the root cause, what you are going through, we identify what we are going through. We help you deal with that, then help you deal with the addiction.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
So, dear viewers, I hope your tea has not run out. You can watch this episode again if you can go to YouTube, to Judah Television JTV, our YouTube page, and also our Facebook page. Wherever you are, however you are, wherever you are seated, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.